All right. That's awesome. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the grand opening celebration of the Morgridge Strength and Performance Center. 16,000 square feet of excellence for education. We all know we're here to celebrate this beautiful facility and a partnership between Plymouth State University and the Morgridge Family Foundation. But what you don't know is how we got here. I'm going to tell you that story. August 2015, Plymouth State has a new president. I'm charged with taking around to meet alumni that have opinions and can make a difference. The very first person I took him to see was Nick Vallis from the class of 76. To say it was love at first sight might be an understatement. These two change agents connected. Nick shared a vision. It was beyond wonderful, what it should be. Fast forward to February of 2016, Nick and our alum Mike Gittleson have a vision for a strength and performance center to improve Plymouth academic excellence, to teach teachers, to educate educators. So Nick scratches it out on a napkin. See, February 7th, 2016. We have it blown up. This is the concept, and this is the finish. Now, we all know higher ed moves slower than most things in the world. So, Nick, thank you for staying with us for 6.5 years. Nick and Mike had a vision, but President Burke still had to move the mountain to make today a reality. He secured funding and private partners like John and Kerry Morgridge, who we're celebrating today, to join him to state the obvious. If it wasn't for President Burke's, this facility would not be here today. It is my great pleasure to welcome President Burks to the microphone.
Thank you, John, and thank you all for being here. When I think about this and all that we've gone through over the last 7 years to get to this point, I think about all of you, because in reality, this is very much like the book that Carrie wrote, Every Gift Matters. And each of you in some way has given a gift to make this a reality. Each of you played a role. And the second part of the title of our book talks about passion can change the world. Your passion can change the world. And in a way, this is a sharing of all our passions to create something that is changing the world here. When I came here, the goal was really to start a university that would represent 21st century education. I'd been in industry, I'd been in academia for approximately equal times. I had seen academia and what the issues and challenges were. I had seen it in industry. I had seen what the differences are that were needed. And I said, if we're going to create a university that really is able to change the world and to change students' lives, we have to come together with our passion to sort of change that and do that together. And that's what this really represents today. And when we were first thinking about it, we looked at this and said, how can we create this new environment? We said we have to create these sort of clusters where we bring technologies and ideas together, where we bring different disciplines together, because all our challenges of the 21st century really are interdisciplinary. They involve us thinking and working together as teams and really being able to do it. Well, how can you do it if you never had a chance to apply those issues? So if you're just teaching in the classroom, not having the experiential component, how do you do it? So John didn't talk about all the pieces that came about to create this facility here and what's upstairs. The upstairs is really the academic component. Down here is more of the application area for everything. But the real goal is, and what is a part of every cluster, is this idea that we have the disciplines coming together to work on and solve the problems. And we're creating problem solvers. That's really what we're about. We're about creating problem solvers. We need a place where we can apply them. We need an open lab, so to speak. So each of our clusters, 7 clusters, has an open laboratory area. One up in D&M is a makerspace, and that's where what we're doing and building now. And this is the latest sort of addition. So all these pieces came together. There was pieces of state funding that came together because we got some state funding for the upstairs part, because at the time they didn't particularly care about UNH, put a large proposal in. They weren't going to fund that, so they funded this, so we were able to get that part going. We snuck a proposal in on the side. Wally worked with the trustees on some of these ideas and working in the background to make sure that we got approval, because you got to get approval from the trustees. And we had many funding options that came in. Each of you played a role. The students played a role, the donors, the faculty and staff. All these things came together to sort of create this shared passion for why we are here today. And so it's a thank you to all of you. It was a vision that came about. It's part of a larger vision of what we think 21st century education should be. It's why Plymouth, I think, is on the cutting edge, and why we're spreading a lot of these ideas throughout the United States and the world as we carry it, and our faculty and staff carry it out there. And we are trying to create an environment where we're creating leaders and impactful students who can really change the world with their passions. And we're trying to give them the tools to be able to do that. And this is another step in doing it, another big step in doing it. And it's vision that becomes reality, and it's so great to see. And I want to thank the Morgridges. I want to thank Nick and Mike, and I want to thank all of you who played a role in making this happen. JT, I don't know where JT is. I don't see him here, but he's been working tirelessly on that. We made a deal, Nick and I, at the beginning, and said, we'll hire the person. You tell us who it should be, but you've got to make sure that you provide some of the funding and support to make it happen. So all these parts came together. Patty worked on it with the President's Council to pull the pieces together and work on the providing donors, and the Morgridges, of course, got us across the finish line, which was so important to all of us. So thank you all. It's a great day for us. It's a great day for you. It's always fantastic to see a vision become reality, and I think this is a real game changer. It's like Carrie said, the passion that changes the world, and that's what we're about here at Plymouth. Thank you.
Thank you, President Burks. Many people to thank. Our next speaker, Kim Bounds, bleeds green. 36 years she has served students at this great university. Don mentioned the many donors. We have our temporary donor wall is up, and hopefully in the winter we'll have the permanent donor wall. And I'd be remiss if I didn't share, there's still opportunities to get your name on the permanent donor wall. Always doing my job. Kim and her partner Dave Geiger are on that wall. My wife Susan and I are proud, as many of you are on that donor wall. There's over 200 names on the donor wall, including Nick, Kerry, and John. 90% of those folks are Plymouth State alums. That's pretty impressive. We're slowly but surely knocking the rock down. Nick's vision, Patty Biederman's vision. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome my friend and colleague, Kim Bounds.
Hi, everybody. I am not a great public speaker, but I am a decent writer, so I wrote everything down so I wouldn't forget. So, welcome everyone. I'm so appreciative that you're here for this special moment. I would first like to thank the Morgridges, Kerry and John, for your incredible gift that I'm gonna cry because I cry at everything. That made this space a reality for our students, all our students. My sincere thanks to you, and my sincere thanks to everyone who donated to make this dream a reality. You cannot imagine the impact that the Morgridge Strength and Performance Lab has already made on our student athletes. I'm here to speak from the student athlete lens, of course. For so many years in the Little East Conference, we were next to last or last in the Commissioner's Cup, which is a cup where every team that participates in the LEC is given points for where they finish. This past year, we were third. Where I've seen the biggest growth is with our women's teams. Having the ability to have this space where they can feel empowered and really embrace the strength and conditioning aspect of sport has changed them dramatically. Stronger and more confidence in their abilities, both mentally and physically. I must give credit for this success to our strength and conditioning coach, John J.T. Thomas. He has not only created this amazing space with the generous gifts from the Morgridges and from all of our donors, he has also created a culture of hard work and respect. The number of student athletes that have come to me with various issues, both good and difficult, and said, quote, "I also spoke to JT about these things," is incredible. They trust him and they know he's there for them. And for me too. These are the things that retain our student athletes. I cannot thank him enough for all that he's done. When Nick Valis and Mike Gittleson created this vision, I knew it was going to be special, but it has exceeded my expectations. The Morgridge Strength and Performance Lab will attract and retain student athletes, and that is a major part of the athletics department's job for Plymouth State University. I do want to add that our Plymouth State student athletes had an average GPA last spring of 3.3. And we all know that a healthy body is essential for a healthy mind. I would like to finish by once again thanking Carrie and John Morgridge, and the athletic department would like to give them a small token of our appreciation. I know it's hot out there, but the snow will come soon, and we have a nice blanket for you.
Thank you, Kim. So President Burks mentioned that Patty Biederman led a committee, a fundraising committee from the offset of the President's Council. It was President's Council Chair Bill Webb's idea to ask Patty / tell Patty. And just so you know, Patty never says no to anything Plymouth State. I mean, ever. And she continued that and led the charge to raise the money. On the back of our programs lists the members of that committee. So I just ask those that are here, stand or wave so we can acknowledge you. The members of the Strength and Conditioning Fundraiser Committee, chaired by Patty Biederman. Sam, you can raise your hand. Our next speaker, Dr. David Farrar, will chat about the impact of this wonderful center from the academic perspective. When I've asked student athletes to describe, when I've asked students to describe David, words like, I love him, he cares, he's so knowledgeable, he's so passionate, he connects, he reaches. When I ask our provost, our vice provost, athletic director, JT, all faculty members, student athletes, who should speak on behalf of the faculty, one name always came up, and it was David's. Please join me in welcoming David Farrar to say a few words.
Those are like the nicest words anybody's ever said. I don't know how I'm gonna follow that one up, but one thing I do want to say is, can we take a second to just look around? Look at this facility. This is amazing. Amazing. I can't get over this. When I arrived here in 2017, one of the things that I was asked to do when I got here was to help try to build a strength conditioning program. And we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. So thank you so much to the Morgridges for all their donations and making this happen. This is gonna be amazing. One of the things that I think is really important in our field, whether it is exercise science, we can take that big umbrella term and look at strength conditioning, look at athletic training, look at physical therapy, public health, PE. One of the things that's really important for our students in order to be successful in this is to do, right? We can come in, we can learn the textbook, we can go through the lectures, have all that, but having that applicable, practical experience is so impactful. Be able to come down here and say, hey, you know what, let's write this workout. All right, let's go downstairs and let's try it out. That is going to give such those students a step up on everybody else who's going to go into the field. This is going to be something that for our students is going to be a major recruitment tool. It's going to be a major retention tool to come down here and say, yep, we can do this. You want to try that out? Great. Let's go down here. Let's make that happen. And this space is also going to tie into that interdisciplinary objective that President Burks wants to do, where we can have our strength conditioning interns work with our athletic training interns, work with some of our PT students to bring a holistic approach to the rehab and return to sport, return to performance side of things. This is incredible. I came from a university that was a D1 institution, and I had to teach strength conditioning on a basketball court. I didn't have a weight room to go to teach them how to teach lifts, do lifts, right? So this lab is going to be something that is just above the rest. Northeast, nationwide, Plymouth, we've got it. And it's all thanks to everybody who's in this room and made that happen. One last thing that I'd like to say, and I know he's getting a lot of love right now, and he should, deservingly, is JT. Hi, JT. When JT was hired on, one of the things that he said to me was, we have got to do stuff to build this program, right? So he has been, every step of the way, easy to work with, easy to collaborate with, and wants to get students down here to get the experience. Hey, they may not be able to do an internship, but can they come shadow? Can they come learn under him? And there's a breadth of knowledge with him that's gonna help with bringing in new students and teaching our students the most that they can and getting ample opportunities to apply the knowledge that they're learning in the classroom. We couldn't be more thankful of it, and we're so excited for everything that this facility is going to bring to our students. Thank you.
Thank you, David. JT did not want to speak, so we'll just speak about him. He's as good as advertised, and it's all about the students, and that's why we're all here. For 152 years, Plymouth State has been preparing and educated students to make a difference in the world. Our next speaker is why we're here. Alessia Salzillo is in the Health and Human Enrichment Cluster academically. She's a student athlete on the field hockey team. In fact, they have their first game today, as well as a point guard on the basketball team. She'll also say fond words about JT, I'm guessing. Please join me in a warm Panther welcome for senior student athlete, Health and Human Enrichment Cluster student, Alessia Salzillo.
I need to step up. Vertically challenged. All right, good morning, everyone. I'm glad you all are here. We get to share this space together. I mean, it's phenomenal. I'm really excited about all of this. I spent a lot of my time in here, so as John introduced me, I'm Alessia Salzillo. I'm currently a fourth-year student athlete here at Plymouth State, and I'm in the allied health sciences field. I would first like to acknowledge how honored I am to be here to thank all of you who put forth the kind and generous efforts to make the new Morgridge Strength and Performance Lab what it is. Again, look at it, it's fantastic. As a student in the Allied Health Science program, many of the courses I'm enrolled in are within this building, and oftentimes this area is used as an extension of the classroom. With the advanced equipment and better use of this space in this performance lab, students like myself and others will have no limitations in learning about exercise prescription, physical health, bodily functions, and so much more that educate students in a variety of fields. Not only this, but for athletes, we understand the importance of strength and conditioning. In this facility, and of course with JT's help, our phenomenal strength coach, we can focus on being healthy athletes. We can also access better ways to discover the abilities of our bodies. With this new facility, there are no restrictions and no limits on what we'll be able to achieve as athletes. So, simply, on behalf of Plymouth State's students, staff, and student athletes, we thank you and those who put it all together 1,000,000 times over for your help in allowing us the opportunity to be the best. Thank you.
Great job. Always the best for last with students. John and Carrie Morgridge believe in the power of education and the direct impact physical health has on mental health. The Morgridge Family Foundation invests in organizations that reimagine solutions to some of today's most significant challenges. By offering the investment in this facility, that vision is shared. At this time, I'd like to ask John and Carrie Morgridge to come up as we're going to begin the ribbon cutting ceremony. If you guys could come up and be recognized. I'll have you stand right in there. So, this scissors, right, the great photo op here for our people. Look at that scissors, two great brands, Plymouth State and the Morgridge Family Foundation. Thank you, John and Carrie. Symbolic scissors. The next person I'd like to introduce for the ribbon cutting is my good friend and Deputy Disruptor and Chief of Staff at the Morgridge Family Foundation is John Farnham. Today would not be possible physically being here without the person that handed John and Carrie the scissors, Krista Hollingsworth, right there. She does not like attention. John and Carrie believe in philanthropy, and it started with John's parents, John and Tasha, who I did not expect them to come today. I'm so glad you're here. It's awesome to see you. They're the reasons, because they taught their children about philanthropy. And I see John and Carrie when I had lunch in June with your own children, teaching them about philanthropy. And that's what it's about, paying it forward. So we have to honor John and Tasha for being here today. Our next formal ribbon cutting person will be President Burks. Where's Don? Please come up and join. Don't make sure you hand him the scissors properly. He came from meetings today, so the next person, which has already been acknowledged for her great tireless work on everything Plymouth, is Patty Biederman from the class of '76. We've already acknowledged Kim Bounds. Kim, please come up. Dr. David Farrar. Representing the student athletes, hockey player, Ben Chipman, on the men's hockey team. They have a connection. For those of you, if Ben looks familiar, we watch Channel 9 in the morning. Ben's the student talking on our commercial. Best for last is a student in the Health and Human Enrichment Cluster, Alessia Salzillo. So we'd like everybody to go behind the ribbon. John and Kerry in the middle with the big. I was guaranteed that everybody could fit. I doubted it, but I was guaranteed. And best for last, and you're on the list, Nick, and you're also on the program, is Nick Valis. It's the first time in 7 years Don Burks whispered something to me that I forgot something. So thank you, President Burks. And of course, the person that we've all heard so much about that refuses to speak, John Thomas.
Get away from you.
Are we good on the cameras? So we should have John and Carrie. Perfect. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3. Cut, please. So let's have a photo. Thank you, Marlon. So, in closing, a few thoughts in closing. Coach Gastonia, Coach Zeman, John and Kerry have informed us that they are going to the football game on Saturday, so a little more pressure. We talked about philanthropy, and Kerry, John, and Tasha have inspired myself personally and so many people. And one thing we didn't talk about, Kerry came to campus with Nick in the fall of 15 and spoke about Every Gift Matters. And that inspired a Women's Leadership Summit, which Patty started, and now they have an endowed scholarship. So on your way out, we have copies of Kerry's 2 last books. Please help yourself. I haven't asked her to sign them, but I know her for over a decade. I guarantee she would be happy to inspire you. And help yourself to cookies and drinks, and just everybody, thank you so much for making this happen. This is awesome. Thank you.